Every year in Ravenbrook, there's a massive haunted house attraction that everyone raves about. I had never been, but this year my friends were determined to get me to experience it. For a little background, I didn't have the easiest childhood. Let's just say it left me with more baggage than I'd like to carry. But I figured, what's the worst that could happen? That weekend, my friend Lucas decided to host a little pregame in his backyard before we all headed out. There were 6 of us, 3 guys, 2 of their girlfriends, and me. None of us wanted to go in sober, so we passed around drinks and a joint. I don't usually smoke because it messes with my head, but tonight I told myself, why not? Maybe the mix of alcohol and weed would cancel out the paranoia. And for a while it did. We bought our tickets online and called a rideshare to take us to the haunted house, about 20 minutes away. When we arrived, the place was packed and the line stretched down the block. The atmosphere buzzed with nervous excitement. By the time we got to the front, I was feeling a little off. Not out of it, but definitely not okay. I kept it to myself. After all, this was supposed to be fun. The second we stepped inside, the chaos hit. The actors were relentless, screaming, jumping out from hidden corners, chasing people down hallways. My friends were laughing and screaming, caught up in the thrill of it. But for me, that thrill was starting to turn into something else, something darker. Then one of the actors, a towering figure in tattered clothes and hollow eyes, zeroed in on me. He leaned in close, his breath reeking of fake blood and plastic. He snarled, made guttural noises, and followed me with an intensity that felt too real. I could feel my chest tighten. The walls seemed closer, the air heavier. My brain screamed at me to run, to get out, to escape. But I was frozen, drowning in the moment, trying to convince myself this wasn't real. Except, for me, it was. The haunted house seemed never-ending. Every twist and turn brought another nightmare to life. My heart pounded in my chest, my skin damp with cold sweat. The flashing lights, the fog curling around my feet, the distorted screams in the distance. It was all too much. Then we stepped into a room bathed in a sickly red glow. A man dressed in a tattered suit and a top hat stood in the center, covered in fake blood, yelling something dramatic at us as part of the act. But I barely registered his words, because in the far corner of the room, where the shadows stretched unnaturally, stood a figure. He wasn't in costume. He wasn't moving. He was just standing there, staring. And then I saw his face. The air left my lungs. My stomach twisted. It was him. It was my father. A scream tore from deep inside me, raw and uncontrollable. My entire body locked up with terror. The room went silent. My friends turned to me, at first laughing, thinking I was just messing around. But when they saw my face, their smiles faded. "What's wrong?" one of the girls asked, grabbing my arm. "It's him," I whispered, my voice barely working. "My dad." I lifted a trembling finger, pointing to the corner. But now, there was nothing. The space where he had stood was empty. My friends exchanged uneasy glances. Even the haunted house actor, still in character, paused and asked if I was okay. I could hear them talking, but their voices seemed distant, drowned out by the ringing in my ears. I was losing control. My breathing turned ragged, my chest tightening as panic swallowed me whole. "I want to leave," I gasped. "I need to get out. Now." Lucas didn't hesitate. He grabbed my arm and led me to a side exit. The cold night air hit me like a slap, but it didn't help. My heart was still racing, my skin still crawling with the memory of that face. We sat on a bench outside the attraction while the others finished the haunted house. "You shouldn't have smoked so much," Lucas said gently, trying to ground me. "It was just a hallucination, man. He wasn't really there." But I wasn't so sure. My father had left when I was 10, walking out on my siblings, my mom, and me. He wasn't a man I wanted to remember. He was a man I had spent years trying to forget. Yet tonight, he had found me. When the others finished, they met us at a McDonald's down the street. I tried to eat, hoping it would settle my nerves, but my hands were still shaking. My friends didn't tease me. They knew about my past. If anything, they just seemed relieved I was okay. I went home early that night, exhausted and drained. The moment I hit my bed, I passed out. But sleep didn't bring peace. In my dreams, I was back in that red-lit room. My father stood in the corner, his face empty, his eyes locked onto mine. His mouth opened, but instead of words, all that came out was a whisper. "Wake up, Ben." My eyes snapped open. My room was dark. The air felt wrong. And then I saw him, standing over my bed, towering, impossibly tall, his body bending in ways no human should. His wide, unblinking eyes bore into me, filled with something I couldn't understand. My mind struggled to process what I was seeing, but the terror was instant and primal. A scream ripped through me, shaking the walls. The door burst open and the lights flicked on. My mother stood in the doorway, breathless and panicked. And just like that, he was gone. The room was empty. Tears burned down my face as I gasped. I saw him. He was right there. My mother sat beside me, holding me the way she used to when I was a kid. I didn't sleep again that night. After that, I swore off weed. I swore off anything that messed with my mind. And most of all, I swore I'd never step foot in another haunted house again. Because some ghosts don't need costumes. Some ghosts are real.